Well, I've been playing guitar an awful long time. I stole one out of an unlocked car when I was 15 years old, and the gang we were out all night, raising hell, stealing stuff. The guys had all this crap we were carrying around. We went and camped out in the woods and had a fire going, and it was 5 in the morning. They said, throw the guitar on the fire, it's getting cold. I said, no, I'm gonna learn how to play this thing, you know. So that's how I started. And it helps to start young because it turns into basically, an extension of your body where it's so natural to play and so easy and effortless. But unfortunately with music, you have to eat, you have to feed your family. And I guess for some people who go all the way to rock stardom and touring and everything like that, they're able to do it at a tremendous price, I might add. But it's not that I haven't made some money from music, but it's not nearly enough. It's disappointing for the amount of time and energy that I've put into it. I mean, for one thing, I came up with the Monster University albums, and then Pixar came out with Monsters University some years later, which basically completely knocked me off the internet because everyone assumed it was a misspelling of theirs. So anyway, started on guitar, and very soon began, I was in some bands, punk rock bands in the 80s, but it was very hard, the politics of the bands, to keep things going and get along with everyone. I tried to do other bands, and that didn't work either, so I turned to recording. First, I started off bouncing back and forth between cassette players. I'd record on a cassette player, bounce it back to another one and add a track and go back and forth. And of course, when you do that, it degenerates the quality quite quickly. So then I went from that, cassettes, to reel-to-reels, where it was a 4-track reel-to-reel, and some of the early Beatles albums were done with 4-track reel-to-reels. So used those for a while, took that to the limit, you know. Then they came out with some recorders that were on cassette, but they were 8 tracks. Quality was not too great, so I took that as far as I could go. And then basically the next step would have been to have a regular recording studio with the 1-inch or 2-inch tape, whatever it is, and a big mixing board and all that, and I couldn't afford to go into all that. Well, that's about the point that they came out with digital recording. Pro Tools is what I got, and that's what I used to do a lot of albums with. But I've kept writing songs. They come to me. I have thousands and thousands and thousands. Well, at least over 1,000 songs. A lot of them are fully formed, completely written, lyrics and everything. Some are, ideas, sketches, things like that. With rock music, I followed a lot of stuff when I was younger, and I learned some things. Learned a lot from Jimmy Page, Ronnie Montrose, Mick Ronson, Earl Slick, a couple other people like that. But I basically figured everything out. And by doing the recording, initially I used drum machines, but that was kind of a chore to program those and everything. I didn't like them that much, so I taught myself how to play drums, played bass, of course, played guitar, sang, played drums also, keyboard rather, and could arrange everything, record all the songs, do all the parts, play all the parts. And the quality is basically the same quality as anything else that I do with art, painting, drawing, publishing, comics, anything else. It's right up there with it. But, the rewards haven't been there for it because of how messed up the industry is. So, oh, can't you see I don't sing that much. My voice is a little out of shape there. But that's a song I wrote about coming back down south from Milwaukee, where it snowed all the time. Came down south. It's like, okay, I'm down here now. It's like whatever complaints I had about rednecks and stuff, it's like I'm gonna just forget about that. So I actually created an album called Redneck Dynamo, which, you know, never got recorded, never got released, but I wrote all these songs. Was it?
Sunshine, walk the talks and see you just a little child. Now you're big and strong, really coming along, and you can do no wrong. Ooh, redneck dynamo, brother, I love you so. Redneck dynamo, oh, brother, I love you
What was that? Anyway, that was one. Ran into a woman at an antique mall. She inspired this song.
Miss Rosie, say that you're an old maid. Don't you listen to what those people say? 'Cause you're still beautiful. Miss Rosie, didn't he propose to you? The man you loved so long and true, but he never knew. Miss Rosie.
There's more to it. But anyway, just a sampling, and songs about all kinds of things. I did an album with John Michael Thor, the Canadian guy, rock star, rock performer, you know, Beast Women from the Center of the Earth, which is basically my concept. And he did 5 songs, I did 5 songs. Done spaghetti westerns, you know, the monster stuff. I was listening to one the other day, Bad Brain, and it's like, and I realized, you know, one thing about the rock inspiration that I had, after a while I got tired of that, and I began listening to 60s adult pop, and not Frank Sinatra necessarily, but a lot of other singers and things like that. And that's how I discovered, now I don't play jazz, but I did learn some other types of melodies, scales, chords, ways to arrange things, stuff like that. So when I created these chords, you know, I could build songs around them. Now that one, that's pretty sophisticated stuff. I mean, you're not going to hear that anywhere. So, bad brain, I do it like Peter Lorre. They say that I have a bad brain, 'cause when I'm in bad brain names, they call me when I run away. They say I've done it again, wishes never come true. Still I save all my wishes for you, a girl of the wind and the sand, cold when I take her hand. The bad brain, bad brain, starting to come back. I haven't played that in a long time. Okay, I'll stop it. That's enough for today.